If you're in a place where you're feeling broken, you're feeling stuck, right? And what if the reason you feel stuck isn't because you've done something or there's something wrong with you? Okay, what if you're not broken? Okay, what if you've just been disconnected from who you are at your core? Like that true nature and purpose within, right? From your truth, from the source, from the universe, from the God, just from your power. Okay, see, I spent years believing I was broken, I was damaged, I was addicted, ashamed. I'd stare at the ceiling at 3 o'clock in the morning asking, why am I like this? Please help. You know? But the real problem was not that I was broken. The problem was I was disconnected. Okay, I was disconnected from who I truly was. Okay, welcome back. I'm LJ. In today's video, I'm going to walk through how we become disconnected in the first place, how it can impact our entire lives, and how I reconnected to the truth of who I really am, and how you can do it too. So, if you've ever felt like you're not enough, like you're broken, like you're not capable, okay, that you're still carrying shame, guilt, fear, or just this heavy belief that somehow you are wrong, right? This video is for you. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? The idea that you're broken, right? That's the first lie. Okay, and it's one that we've all been sold, right? You weren't born believing you were broken. You were born whole, connected, radiant, right? But then life happened. Then pain happened. Okay, people who were disconnected themselves raised you, taught you, shaped you. Now, I'm not blaming parents here. I'm not blaming guardians. I'm not blaming anyone. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. You know, I know my parents were doing the absolute best that they could do with what they had, and they loved me, right? But unfortunately, we live in a world where there is a lot of conditioning, there is a lot of lies, there is a lot of deceit. Okay, and we are sold this from the moment that we're born. Right, so our parents, our teachers, they pass down their beliefs, their fears, their emotional wounds. Right, so you learn to disconnect in order to belong, to feel safe, to feel loved. Right, and maybe it was your parents, maybe it was school, maybe it was a trauma, maybe addiction, abandonment. But slowly, bit by bit, you became someone you thought you had to be. Okay, not because you were wrong, because you were adapting, you were learning to survive in this world. Okay, and here's the truth, right? And I want you to understand this, right? But adapting doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means you forgot who you really are temporarily. Right? And there was a quote from Alex Miles, and he said, "You are not broken, you are breaking through." And it's true, because when we start to go on this journey of waking up, we start to remember things, we start to have breakthroughs, and we start to connect with ourselves deeper and deeper. Okay, so from the moment that we're born, right, our mind starts to seek orientation. It wants to understand, what is going on here? How is it here? Right? So it starts figuring out, there is a way that we have to be in order to navigate this place. So we start defining ourselves by experiences. Okay, we start identifying through definitions, right? I'm not good enough. Okay, I'm too much. I'm not worthy. I can't trust people. I'll never be successful. The list goes on, right? Then these definitions become beliefs. These beliefs become patterns. And then these patterns become a prison. Okay, but you didn't create those beliefs from your truth, right? You created them from misunderstanding, from unmet needs, from survival mode, right? See, we don't form our beliefs from facts. We form them from meaning. And the meaning that we gave to painful events were skewed because we were children just trying to survive. So we were looking at them from a childish perspective. Right? We didn't understand the relevance of the moment. And this is why when I speak about my parents' divorce, my parents divorced because they did not get along. It was nothing to do with me. Right? They tried to stay together for me and my brother, but they couldn't because they just didn't get along. But as a child, I didn't see that. I took full responsibility and said my dad left because I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy enough. Okay, and this is where the disconnection begins. We a disconnect from our heart, right? The disconnection from our body, from our soul, our disconnection from source, right? And even modern psychology confirms this, right? And it says that at the root of most dysfunction is not a lack of willpower, but a lack of connection, right? And shame's the same thing, right? There's shame means there's something wrong with me. But when we are connected and it's, I am enough, even warts and all, even in a mess, I am enough, right? Because there's plenty of research that shows that, that people who believe they are worthy of love and belonging actually live as if they are. It's not the other way around. So when you believe you're broken, you live disconnected, you sabotage, you self-judge, you isolate, you try to fix what doesn't need fixing. Okay? And here's the kicker, right? You don't need to fix yourself, right? You need to find yourself. You are not the story that you created to survive. You are not you like myself, my addictions, my trauma, or the conditioning. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the soul that's witnessing this story. Okay, and I'll take you back to like my own experience, because I as I say, everything I do is based on my experience, my learnings, right? So I was, a while, this is a long time ago, I was in a dark place, right? I was obviously addicted, strung out, ashamed, depressed. There was so many mixed, crazy emotions going through, and I questioning why I was even alive. Okay, had I lost my mind, my body, my soul, any sense of purpose? Right, everything in my life was screaming that I was a failure, that I was broken, that I was good for nothing. Okay, then I had my spiritual awakening, right, which changed a lot of things, but it put me in the path of my first mentor called Chris Duncan. And he's even wrote a book called You're Not Broken, because it's his favourite saying, you're not broken. And at first, there was a lot of resistance, right? I remember like thinking, you don't know me, mate. You don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've been through. Again, it was about me. You don't know this, that, or the next thing. But the more that I sat and understood the teachings, the more that I opened up to a different idea that maybe I had been wrong about myself all along. Because I remember one night, right? And I don't even know why, right? I was just lying there as I would do sometimes, and instead of asking what's wrong with me, I asked, what if nothing is wrong with me, right? And then that single little thought, it let in, that this, I don't know what I would call it, but let in this, revelation or whatever it was, and I started looking back at my life with different eyes. And I started looking at everything that I had done, despite my addictions, despite my trauma, despite my pain. And you know what? I was blown away because I began to see strength where I had seen weakness, where I had seen shame. Right? Because at 5, my parents divorced and that shattered me. At 8, I moved to a whole new country where I had a different accent, different beliefs. I was bullied, but I adapted. As a teenager, I navigated extreme violence and chaos with gangs and everything, and I found a way out. I landed a football position at a university in America, so I moved country again, where I was training every day, got a degree, played at a high level, right? I ended up into a maximum security prison. I went through that, escaped without being harmed or broken. I got deported, had my life turned upside down again, it started over. Then, within a year of being released from prison, I was partially paralysed, bedbound for 6 months, and I still came back. Right, I found the love of my life. I had 2 incredible kids. The sales job I was the top salesman in the company. I'd been to rehab 3 times over a decade. I retrained as a barber. Then I built my own successful barbershop from the ground up. Now, that might not seem great, but I'd done all of that while battling a deep addiction, while I was drowning in depression, while anxiety was ripping out my body. I was just fighting this silent war inside my own head, right? But then, it was like a revel, something hit me. It was like, out the boom, right? My focus had been in the wrong place for so long, right? I was constantly focused on what I had done wrong, what was broken, what was missing, right? And that focus was recreating more of the same chaos, the same carnage, the same destruction, right? So what would happen if I was focused on the right things, on what was working, on what I had overcome, right? What was possible, right? And then that opened up a whole new world to me. That opened up, my journey to uncovering my purpose. Because then maybe I was never broken, right? I was just disconnected from who I was at my core. I was trying to survive. So I'd blocked out who I was deep down underneath all these masks, disconnected from my essence, from that creative power that's always there within every single one of us. Okay, it's just there, buried beneath the pain, right? And this is when my life started to open up, right? I began reconnecting with my body. I built my body from being overweight to, I'm rocking a six-pack all year round. I'm 46 at about 10% body fat. I'm in the best shape of my life, right? Started rebuilding my spirit, connecting with who I am on a deeper level, meditating, journaling, really looking after my mind, forgiving myself, okay, reconnecting with my beautiful family, repairing the broken relationships that I'd destroyed, okay, forgiving myself, letting go of all the labels and the judgments, okay, and finally then there was truth, right? The pain wasn't who I was, it was just what I had been through, right? And now I know this to the bones. My pain was never in the way, it was the way. Because if I hadn't walked through everything that I did, how could I possibly help others rise from their own darkness, their own struggles? And that is my purpose in life, to help and inspire millions to reconnect who they are on a deeper level. And if I hadn't done it myself, how could I be an example to show anyone else? Okay, and this is massive learnings that I uncovered, right? And I believe that as part of, there's a much bigger plan at play here. And let's go spiritual for a moment, right? Because you are a pure creative spirit, right? Connected to everything through all time and space, right? Your soul never broke. Your light never dimmed. Your true self is untouched by trauma or pain, right? And all the spiritual teachings, right from the, how do you say it, the Bhagavad Gita, I can never say that, to the Course in Miracles, the messages are the same. You are whole. You just forgot. Okay? You're not here to be fixed. You're here to remember, right? We were all born on the wrong track, right? A track of survival, of shame, of disconnection. Okay, but now's the time where we are being initiated back onto the right track. Okay, back onto the light, the path of remembrance, the path of reconnection, the path of creation. Okay, and as Rumi said, he said, you're not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And that is so true. It's beautiful when we can really see how amazing we are as a soul, as a human, as the whole world around us. And when we come together and truly connect and inspire and help each other and come together instead of, judgments and pushing apart, then miracles will happen. Okay, but in order to reconnect with everything and everybody else, you have to reconnect with yourself. Okay, you have to reconnect with who you are on a deeper level. And that means, tapping it into that innocence deep within you. Like I done a video yesterday about, connecting with your intuition, but it's letting go of the need to know, to understand everything. Let go of meaning. Okay, be present like a child without judgment. Okay, let life, live through you. So just spend time being alone with yourself and just letting go of the need to know and understand everything. Okay, adopt a mode of innocence and just see, what is going on. Observe the obvious. Okay, and then we have to really embody awareness, because our body holds the keys. Okay, feel what your body's telling you. Feel your emotions. Be with them. Don't suppress them. Let your body guide you back to wholeness. Okay, become aware of the chatter, what's real and what's trying to keep you stuck. Okay, do this on a daily basis. This is a daily connection ritual, right? Like every morning I tell you, I meditate, okay? I speak to God. I place my hand on my heart, right? And I ask, how would you have me serve today? And that is me just letting go of needing to know or control and just allowing myself, whatever happens, happens. Okay, because I believe that we are all here to be creators. Okay, and in years to come, all the schools will change, because I believe the schools are backwards. It's not a one size fits all. But your ability to create will be how successful you will become. So practice creative expression. Write, speak, move, sing, build. When you express yourself without censoring, you reconnect to what is your soul. What did you love to do as a child? Right? I loved to draw, to build, to dance. I remember breakdancing at a party when I was about 8 or 9 with no care in the world. See, when I was 15, 16, I would never have done that. I would have been too scared of judgment, this and that. I'd already been conditioned by this point. So it's time to embody who you are at your core and know that you're not broken. All the pain that you went through is part of your purpose. It's guiding you to where you're needed in this world. If you've overcome it, you can help someone else overcome it. Okay, if you've experienced it and went through it, then you will have something in order to pass on to the next person. Okay, so let me remind you today, you were never broken. You've just been disconnected who you are in the core. And that disconnection was never your fault. But the reconnection, that's your responsibility. It's available right now, right here, today. Your power, your peace, your purpose, it's not out there. It all begins in here. You are the creator. You are divine. You are whole. Okay? Not because you do everything right, but because your essence never stopped being magnificent. Okay? So if you're ready to stop trying to fix yourself and reconnect with the truth of who you are, give me a comment below. I choose reconnection. Say it, declare it, embody it. Okay? And if this video resonates with you and you want more of these type of videos, hit the subscribe channel, hit the bell, okay? And we can walk this journey together, day by day, breath by breath, truth by truth, light by light. Okay? I truly love every single one of you guys. And I am here to support and help in any way I can. Have a great day. Love you. I've got another video for you right here, and you can subscribe right here. Take care. Bye-bye.